The zipper of the tent rasped like a confession in the dead of night. And there he was, my stepson, Michael, shirtless and trembling, his eyes wild with something I couldn't name. "Dad," he whispered, voice cracking like thunder over the Rockies. "I can't pretend anymore," in that frozen heartbeat. As his hand brushed mine, the world outside, the elk calls, the crackling fire, faded to nothing, leaving only the heat of his skin against the chill of what we'd both buried for years. I bolted upright, heart slamming against my ribs like a cornered animal. The air inside the nylon walls hung thick with pine sap and unspoken sins, the lantern's flicker casting shadows that danced like accusations across his bare chest. Michael, 23, all lean muscle from college lacrosse, with that mop of chestnut hair I'd watched grow wild since he was 12, stood there, unzipped jeans slung low, vulnerability etched in every line of his face. We'd come to these Wyoming backwoods for a bonding hunt, my wife Lisa's idea to mend the fractures in our patchwork family after her endless shifts at the hospital. But now, with the tent flap gaping like an open wound, I knew this trip would carve us deeper than any knife. "Michael, what the hell?" My voice came out rougher than the gravel we'd hiked over, but I didn't pull away when his fingers tangled in mine. 5 years since I'd married Lisa. 5 years of playing the role stepdad, mentor, the straight-arrow ex-Marine who grilled burgers at 4th of July barbecues and fixed his bike chains without a word. I'd buried my own truths deep, back in the barracks where "don't ask, don't tell" was gospel, where I'd stolen glances at bunkmates and lied to myself in the mirror. But Michael, he'd been the spark, innocent at first, a shared laugh over bad horror flicks, a fist bump after his first touchdown. Now, it was a blaze I couldn't douse. He dropped to his knees beside my sleeping bag, the cold seeping through the thin fabric, his breath hitching like sobs he wouldn't let free. "I saw you looking at me today, by the stream, when I stripped down to rinse off. You think I don't notice?" His words hit like buckshot, scattering my defenses. I had looked, God help me, I had. The way the sunlight dappled his skin, water beating on his collarbone like dew on forbidden fruit. I turned away, cursing the pull in my gut, the ache that whispered I was no better than the wolves howling in the distance. I cupped his jaw, thumb tracing the stubble I'd taught him to shave around, and pulled him closer. Our foreheads touched, and in that press of skin, the dam cracked. His lips found mine, tentative, then desperate, tasting of trail mix and teenage rebellion. Kissed back, hands roaming the plains of his back, mapping territory I had no right to claim. The tent shrank around us, the world reduced to gasps and grips, his body arching into mine like it had always belonged there. We moved slow at first, reverent, as if one wrong shift would shatter the illusion. But hunger won out, clothes shed in frantic whispers, bodies colliding in a rhythm older than the mountains cradling us. When it ended, we lay tangled, sweat slick and spent, the lantern sputtering like it knew our secret. Michael's head on my chest, rising with each ragged breath. He murmured, "This doesn't change anything, right? We're still us." I stroked his hair, lying to us both. Changed everything. Dawn would bring the hunt, the return to Lisa's warm kitchen in Denver, the facade of family photos on the mantel. But in that tent, under a sky vast as regret, we'd crossed a line drawn in blood and vows. The morning broke crisp and unforgiving, frost rhyming the tent stakes like accusations. I woke to Michael already up, brewing coffee over the portable stove, his flannel shirt buttoned wrong, eyes downcast as he handed me a mug. "Buck season opens at noon," he said, voice steady as if we'd shared nothing but trail stories. I nodded, sipping the bitter brew, the burn in my throat a poor echo of last night's fire. We packed in silence, rifles oiled, packs slung, two hunters stepping into the timberline, pretending the air between us wasn't laced with gunpowder and guilt. Wyoming's Wind River Range stretched endless, peaks jagged as my thoughts, aspen groves whispering secrets we'd never voice. We'd hunted here before, back when Michael was gangly and gap-toothed, his excitement a balm to my post-deployment haze. Lisa had pushed for these trips, her way of stitching us together after she'd said, "I do" to a widower with ghosts in his duffel. She'd been my anchor, practical, laughing, the kind of woman who baked pies for neighbors and forgave my silences. Michael, her son from a fleeting college fling, had been the bonus round, wary at first, then fiercely loyal, calling me dad like a dare I'd risen to. But today, every step echoed with what we'd done. He moved ahead, scouting tracks in the mud, elk sign, fresh and deep, his boots crunching leaves like brittle bones. I watched the sway of his hips, the rifle strap cutting across his shoulder, and hated the want coiling low in me. "Eyes front, Will," I muttered, invoking my own name like a prayer. William Hargrove, 42, veteran of sand-swept hells where love was a liability. I'd come out to no one, not even Lisa in our quiet nights. She'd assume, maybe, from the lack of fire in our bed, but we'd built a life on comfortable lies. We crested a ridge by midday, the valley below a tapestry of gold and green, a bull elk grazing oblivious in the meadow. Michael dropped to a crouch, glassing him with binoculars, his profile sharp against the blue. "Prime shot, Dad. 200 yards. His voice was all business, but when our eyes met, heat flashed, raw, unbidden. I took the rifle, steadied my elbows on a boulder, breath held as I sighted. The crack split the silence, echo rolling like judgment. The elk dropped clean, a mercy kill in this brutal ballet. Dressing it out was ritual, knives flashing, blood warm on our hands, the metallic tang mixing with earth. Michael's face was flushed, not from exertion but something deeper, his gaze lingering on my forearms slick with red. "You always make it look easy," he said, wiping his blade on his jeans. I grunted, focusing on the gut pile steaming in the chill, but my mind replayed the tent. His moans muffled against my neck, the way he'd clung like I was salvation. We hauled the meat back to camp by dusk, quarters lashed to the pack mule we'd trailered in. The fire pit crackled under sausages and beans, stars pricking the velvet sky like witnesses. Michael cracked a beer, foam spilling over his knuckles, and passed me one. "To the hunt," he toasted, but his eyes said more, to us, to the edge we'd teetered on. We ate in companionable quiet at first, stories tumbling out, his dorm pranks at CU Boulder, my old platoon pranks in Fallujah that ended in laughs or losses. Laughter bridged the gap, but when he leaned in, shoulder to mine, the air thickened again. "Tell me about before," he said suddenly, poking the embers. "Before Mom. Who were you? Really?" I stared into the flames, bourbon warming my veins from the flask in my pack. Truth clawed up, nights in Baghdad staring at Jamal's sleeping form, the almost kiss under mortar fire that I'd chalked up to adrenaline. Just a guy trying to survive. I evaded, but he pressed, hand on my knee under the log we sat on. You don't have to hide here. Not from me. His fingers squeezed, innocent as a son's reassurance, but loaded. I covered his hand with mine, the firelight gilding us gold. Michael, this us, it's a minefield. Your mom. He pulled back, jaw tight. She doesn't see you. Not like I do. The words stung, true as they were. Lisa loved steadily, but our marriage was a house of cards. Affectionate, functional, devoid of the storm raging in me now. Night fell heavy, the tent our reluctant confessional. We zipped in side by side, sleeping bags inches apart, the space between a chasm and a bridge. I lay awake, listening to his breathing even out, the rustle of fabric as he shifted closer in sleep. His arm draped over my waist, seeking warmth or more, and I didn't move it. In the dark, fantasies flickered, mornings in Denver, stolen touches in the garage, a life unyoked from shame. But reality loomed, tomorrow's drive home, Lisa's hug at the door, the photo of us three on the fridge. Sleep came fitful, dreams of pursuits through fog-shrouded woods, always chasing shadows that turned to him. I woke to his lips on my neck, soft and insistent, dawn's gray light filtering through canvas. Again, I breathed, half protest, half plea. He nodded, straddling me with a grace that belied his athlete's build, hands pinning my shoulders. This time was slower, exploratory, kisses trailing fire down my chest, his body yielding and commanding in turns. We whispered endearments I'd never voiced. Beautiful, I murmured into his hair, mine on a gasp that scared us both. After, as we dressed for the pack-out, reality crashed in. His phone buzzed. Lisa, checking in. Tell her hi, he said, voice light, but his eyes pleaded. I texted back platitudes, thumbs heavy, the lie settling like lead. The drive south was interminable, Rockies giving way to plains, radio droning country ballads of lost loves. Michael dozed against the window, lashes dark on his cheeks, and I gripped the wheel, mind a whirlwind. Betrayal? To Lisa? Yes. To him, if I walked away. To myself, if I didn't. Denver sprawled welcoming, suburbs neat as promises. Home was a craftsman bungalow, porch swing creaking in the breeze, Lisa's Prius in the drive. She met us at the door, apron dusted with flour, smile wide as the front range. My hunter's return. How was the big one? Hugs all around, her soft against my stiffness, Michael's quick and filial. Inside, venison thawed for stew, photos chronicling our charade, Michael's graduation, our wedding, holidays with forced cheer. Dinner was domestic bliss, plates clinking, stories edited clean. But under the table, Michael's foot nudged mine, a secret Morse code. I pulled away, heart twisting. Later, as Lisa hummed in the kitchen, he cornered me in the hall. When? He demanded, voice low. Tonight? Your room. Panic surged. No. Christ. Michael. This ends here. His face crumpled. Betrayal raw. You coward. After everything, he stormed to his room. Guest now. Since college, door slamming like finality. Nights blurred into torture. I'd lie beside Lisa, her snores steady, while footsteps padded past our door. Michael's glances at breakfast were daggers, accusatory over coffee mugs. Work swallowed me, construction foreman, barking orders at sites where men sweated and swore, their camaraderie a pale echo of what I craved. But home was minefield. Laundry mingled with his scent, the fridge stocked with his energy drinks, Lisa's oblivious chatter about PTA meetings. 2 weeks in, the dam broke again. Rain lashed the city, thunder rumbling like suppressed thunder. Lisa pulled a double shift, leaving us alone with pizza and a Rockies game on TV. Michael slouched on the couch, beer in hand, legs sprawled. "Miss the woods?" he asked, casual as shrapnel. I nodded, eyes on the screen, but tension hummed. Halftime hit, and he was there knee to knee, hand on my thigh. "Tell me to stop," he challenged. I didn't. We tumbled to the rug, savage and silent, the storm outside masking our frenzy. Clothes ripped, bodies bruised in the best way, his nails raking my back as I drove into him, claiming what society deemed sin. "Love you," he gasped, the words a grenade. I echoed them, shattered, as release crashed over us. After, curled on the floor, he traced my tattoos, marine ink from wars past. "Run away with me." After graduation. Portland, Seattle, somewhere we can breathe. The dream tempted. A life of dive bars and double beds. No step relation to damn us. But Lisa's key in the lock snapped reality back. We scrambled, decent by inches. Her rough game, met with laughs too loud. Guilt festered. I started sleeping on the couch, claiming back pain. Michael withdrew late nights out, texts from faceless friends. Lisa noticed, her hand on my forehead. "Everything okay? Will, you seem distant." I kissed her temple, murmuring lies. Inside, I warred, the man who'd pledged for better or worse, versus the one awakening in Michael's arms. Climax brewed at Thanksgiving. Family flooded in, Lisa's sister from Omaha, Michael's aunt with her yapping corgi, uncles swapping war stories over turkey. Table groaned with fixings. Grace said over blessings I no longer believed. Michael sat across, eyes locked on mine during pie, foot teasing under linen. Later, in the garage amid boxes of holiday lights, he pinned me against the workbench. "Choose," he hissed, lips bruising mine. "Us or this farce." I shoved him away, rage born of fear. "You think it's that easy? You're her son." "My fuck, I can't." His slap echoed, cheek flaming red. "I'm not your son. Not anymore. You're just the guy who fucked me and ran." He fled into the night, truck roaring off, leaving me slumped amid tinsel, tears hot as bourbon. Lisa found me there, concern creasing her brow. "Fight," I nodded, weaving half-truths college stress. His rebellion. She hugged me, solid as ever. "He'll come around. You're the best thing that happened to us." Her words gutted me, the knife twisting deeper. Michael vanished for days, couch surfing with buddies, phone dark. Panic clawed. Visions of wrecks on I-70, overdoses in frat houses. I drove aimlessly, calling hospitals, the ache a black hole. On day 4, he stumbled home at dawn, reeking of whiskey and regret, collapsing into my arms at the door. "Missed you," he slurred, and we wept, tangled on the foyer rug, forgiveness in every sob. But secrets poison slow. Lisa confronted us a week later, cornering me in the kitchen. What's going on? Will, the late nights, the whispers, I saw the laundry, the marks. Her voice broke, not anger but sorrow. I confessed in fragments, the tent, the couch, the love that had hijacked my soul. She listened, pale as winter, then whispered, I knew you carried something heavy. But him? God? Will? No screams. Just quiet unraveling, papers drawn for divorce. Michael's bags packed for early move-out. The betrayal cut deepest in her eyes. Not rage at me, but grief for the family we'd feigned. I loved you both enough to let you go, she said, signing forms with steady hand, her practicality a final gift. Michael and I left together, a U-Haul trailing to Boulder, his dorm swapped for a cramped apartment off Pearl Street. Months blurred into tentative normalcy. He finished spring semester, lacrosse stick traded for barista shifts. I took contracting gigs, nights spent cooking spaghetti and arguing over Netflix. Love bloomed raw, mornings tangled in thrift store sheets, evenings walking hand in hand along the creek path. No hiding in Colorado's progressive haze. But scars lingered, therapy sessions unpacking the taboo, Lisa's occasional texts civil, aching with what-ifs. Climax revisited in summer, a camping trip to test waters, not hunt, but hike the Maroon Bells, peaks mirroring our jagged edges. Tents pitched by Maroon Lake, stars a canopy over Esmores and Stories. That night, as wind sighed through pines, Michael knelt by the fire, ring glinting in firelight, a simple band, scavenged from a pawn shop. Marry me? Not legal yet, not for us everywhere, but forever. Tears pricked. The humanistic ache of it all, love's defiance against bloodlines and biases, the American dream twisted into queer resilience. I pulled him up, kissing salt from his lips. Yes. God. Yes. We made love under open sky. Blankets rumpled. The world vast and indifferent. Years folded forward. Denver faded to memory. Lisa remarried to a quiet accountant who fixed her porch swing. We built in Portland craft brewery jobs. A rescue dog named Scout. Pride parades where we marched arm in arm. Michael taught high school history, inspiring kids with tales of outcasts who triumphed. I built homes, literal and figurative, framing walls sturdy as our bond. Betrayal's echo softened to lesson. Love isn't tidy, not in stepfamilies or same-sex vows, but it's human, flawed, fierce, forgiving. On our 10th anniversary, back in Wyoming's tent, elk antlers mounted above our hearth at home, we unzipped old wounds with new grace. Nothing's the same, Michael murmured, echoing that first night. I smiled, pulling him close. And everything is. The zipper's rasp haunted me long after Wyoming, a ghost in every quiet moment. Portland's rain-slick streets became our sanctuary, but Michael's nightmares dragged us back. Flashes of my rejection in the garage, Lisa's fractured smile at the kitchen table. He'd wake gasping, fists clenched in sheets, and I'd hold him until dawn, whispering assurances like incantations. We're here. We're real. Therapy helped, Dr. Elena, with her no-nonsense Oregon drawl, unpacking the knot of stepfather-stepson. Taboo turned tender. Love doesn't erase lines, she'd say, but it redraws them. Summer of 27 brought heat waves and revelations. Michael's coaching gig at a local rec league turned heads. Not just for his plays, but the coach's husband cheering from the bleachers, my calloused hands waving foam fingers. Whispers rippled through the stands. That's them? Cute. We'd laugh it off over IPAs at the brew pub. But inside, validation bloomed like hop vines. Lisa visited once. Awkward at first, hug stiff, eyes darting to our joined hands. Over coffee at a Pearl District cafe, she admitted, I missed the family photo version. But seeing you both alive, that's something. Forgiveness wasn't full, but it was enough. A bridge we'd cross slow. Conflict simmered when Michael's ex from Boulder surfaced. Jake, the lacrosse captain with a jawline like chiseled granite and a history of hookups that left Michael hollow. Jake emailed first, casual catch-up, then showed at our door unannounced. Duffel slung, eyes hungry. Heard you're playing house. Thought I'd see if it's real. Michael froze in the entryway, towel from shower dripping, while I brewed coffee to mask the urge to deck him. We talked civil at first, Jake's charm a Trojan horse, dredging old insecurities. You were always too intense, Mike. The stepdad thing? Kinky rebound. I stepped out for air. Fists balled in the drizzle. Jealousy a venom I'd thought purged. Back inside. Voices raised. Jake's baritone clashing with Michael's plea. Get out. I love him. The slam of the door echoed. Jake's truck peeling away, leaving Michael shattered on the couch. Am I worth it? He asked, voice small. I knelt, framing his face. More than hunts or homes or any lie I ever told. We rebuilt that night. Bodies a testament. Slow and sacred. Rain pattering like applause. Autumn painted the Willamette gold, but betrayal's shadow lengthened. My crew chief, Big Tom, bluff ex-army like me, overheard bar talk at the site, piecing rumors. Hargrove, words you know, his squint wasn't hate, but discomfort, the old guard's unease. Jobs dried up subtle, bids lost, shifts cut. Economy, they claimed, but I saw the flinch in handshakes. Michael urged lawyering up, but pride held me, I'll grind. We've got savings. Winter hit hard. Snow blanketing our rooftop garden. Isolation creeping. Holidays alone, no Lisa this year. Her new life cozy in Denver. We strung lights, baked gingerbread men with icing kisses. But Michael's eyes dulled. Lacrosse whistle idle. What if we move? Seattle's got tech. Better for us. Tempting. But roots tugged. Portland's queer scene. Our first apartment's creaky stairs. Instead, I doubled down, taking side gigs, flipping houses in the burbs, hammer swinging like therapy. Climax brewed in February, a nor'easter dumping feet of white. Power flickered, then died, leaving us candlelit and cabin-fevered. Michael paced, old demons surfacing. You're pulling away again, like the garage. Work, silence. It's the same lie. I snapped, exhaustion fraying. I'm fighting for us. You think it's easy, being the villain in every backstory. Words escalated. His abandonment fears clashing my provider's guilt, until he hurled a mug, porcelain shattering like our Wyoming dawn. Silence fell heavy, shards glinting in candlelight. He sank to the floor, back to wall, sobs racking. I joined him, glass crunching under knees, arms enveloping. I'm scared, I admitted, voice breaking. Of losing you to this world that still chews us up. He turned, forehead to mine. Then don't hide. Fight with me, not for me. We wept, then loved, fierce, floorbound, the storm raging approval outside. Morning brought plows and power, but inside, clarity. We'd file complaints, network bolder, build unapologetic. Spring thawed grudges. Big Tom apologized over beers. My bad, man. Family first, labels last, and gigs flowed again. Michael landed adjunct history at PSU, lecturing on Stonewall with fire that lit lecture halls. We adopted Scout, a mutt with one ear floppy, his loyalty a mirror. Pride that June, we marched under rainbows, my arm around his waist, chanting for rights we'd clawed. Lisa texted a photo, her at a rally, sign reading Love Wins. Always. Yet romance deepened in quiet beats. A sunset hike in Forest Park. His head on my shoulder. Lazy Sundays with pancakes and playlists of Springsteen anthems. Humanistic threads wove. Volunteering at the center. Mentoring queer kids who'd found no dad like ours. Michael's thesis on queer narratives in American Lit quoted our story anonymized. A footnote in academia's archive. Betrayal revisited subtle. In Jake's shadow, a bar run-in. His congrats on domestic bliss laced acid. Michael stiffened, but I squeezed his hand. Past's just prologue. We left arm in arm, laughing at Jake's fade into fog. Summer fair brought Ferris wheels and funnel cake. Michael's daredevil spin ending in kisses atop the world. City lights winking complicity. Fall's harvest moon lit a proposal redux, not ring, but vows scrawled on napkins at our brewpub. In sickness, in hunts, in every unzipped truth, we married there. Friends toasting with hazy IPAs. No priest but presence enough. Lisa flew in, toasting with tears, to redrawn lines, years stacked like cordwood. Michael tenured, his book on forbidden love's a quiet bestseller. I unionized the crew, pushing for fair shakes in trades still macho-tilted. Scout grayed at the muzzle. Our home expanded, a back deck for stargazing. Elk mounts swapped for photos of us three. Reconciliation framed. Climax's echo? A health scare, my ticker fluttering during a site climb. Our lights blurring to Michael's face. Don't you dare, he commanded, holding vigil. Docs called it stress, but it reframed checkups. Yoga? Begrudging. More nights in than out. Slow dance, he teased, swaying in the kitchen to Coltrane. Ending humanistic, not fairy tale. Love's a hunt, endless, with betrayals as signposts, conflicts as campfires warming resolve. On our 20th anniversary, tent pitched in backyard under Portland stars, we zipped in, bodies familiar as home. Nothing's the same, Michael echoed, grin sly. I pulled him close, heart steady. And that's the beauty. Portland's pulse quickened our rhythm. But roots pulled south sometimes. Thanksgiving 29. Lisa's invite a tentative olive branch. Her new place in Aurora. Cookie cutter with a husband named Greg who grilled like a pro and asked zero prying questions. Dinner hummed awkward harmony. Turkey carved precise. Michael's stories of PSU syllabi drawing her laughs. My toasts to found families landing soft. After pie, she pulled me aside in the garden. Fairy lights twinkling like hesitant stars. You look happy, Will. Really? Her hand squeezed mine. No rings clashing now. He does that to you. I nodded. Throat tight. Gratitude. Not guilt. For the first time. Back north. Winter's grip loosened into 30s bloom. Michael's book tour hit coasts. Readings in San Francisco's Castro. Q&As in New York's Stonewall in me tagging as roadie husband. Hauling boxes and holding hands in airports. Fans approached shy. A teen with our story's echo. It gave me courage. He'd beam. Signing copies with flourishes. While I swelled quiet pride. Conflict nipped at heels. A reviewer calling it sentimental slop. Dredging Michael's imposter doubts. Am I just the pretty face with daddy issues? He'd vent over hotel wine. I'd counter with facts. Sales charts. Student evals. Our life ledger of paid bills and packed picnics. You're the story worth telling, I'd say, sealing with slow hotel room unravelings. Spring brought Betrayal's sly kin, an old Marine buddy, Ramirez, emailing from Quantico. Heard the news. Hargrove. Stepson? That's some sandhill bullshit. No vitriol. Just that military bluntness probing wounds. I fired back defensive, defiance masking hurt, then deleted the chain. But Michael found it. I storming. Why engage? Let em rot. His anger masked fear. Exposure's boomerang. Hitting our haven. We argued fierce. My closure quest versus his protect the peace. Ending in slammed doors and silent drives. Reconciliation came lakeside. Crater Lake's blue abyss mirroring turmoil. I fight ghosts so they don't haunt us, I explained, skipping stones. He nodded, arm linking mine. Then fight with backup, vows renewed, ripples spreading calm. Summer scorched, fairs and festivals a whirlwind. We volunteered at the center's youth camp, cabins in the Cascades, hikes teaching resilience. One kid, Alex, all freckles and flinches, latched to Michael. How'd you know? Over campfire esmores. Michael's tale sanitized, tent trips, truths unearthed, struck chords. I watched, chest full, the humanistic chain linking, our pain forging paths for theirs. Back home, Scout's limp worsened, vet visits a gauntlet. Time's thief, Michael mourned, burying face in fur. We chose dignity, pillow by the vet's table, his tail thump final. Grief hollowed weeks, but filled with memorials. A park bench plaque, Scout, loyal to the end. Fall's foliage framed a pivot. My crew's union push gained traction. Pickets at City Hall chanting equity. Big Tom rallied. Hargrove's got the fire. Media sniffed. A local news spot. Veteran leads trade reform. Michael's pride shone in clips shared. But stress-etched lines, deadlines clashing demos. Balance. Babe, he'd urge. Massaging knots post-protest. Romance rekindled spontaneous. A stolen weekend in wine country. Willamette Valley vines heavy. Tastings loosening tongues to dreams. Adoption maybe. Or fostering. Expanding our echo. Climax crested November 31. Election night fever. Portland pulsed progressive. But national rifts widened. Anti-LGBT bills snaking through states. Echoes of my don't ask era. We watched returns at a watch party. Rainbow flags draping the bar. Cheers turning tense as losses tallied. Michael drained his stout. Face ashen. What if it rolls back? Our marriage. The center. I pulled him close amid the crowd. Heartbeat sinking. We've outrun worse. Wyoming tense to this, we're bulletproof. But doubt gnawed. Next day, a client pulled a bid. Citing values alignment. Betrayal corporate. Cold. Homefront frayed. Michael's sleep erratic. Lectures laced urgency. my rallies hoarse-throated. One night, storm lashing windows, he snapped, "You're out there yelling, but what about us? Planning a future when it's crumbling." I retorted hot. "Fighting so we have one." Words escalated to echoes of 27's mug shatter. But this time, pause before fracture. We sat floors apart, breaths ragged. "I'm terrified," he confessed, voice small, "of losing you to this war." I crawled over, enveloping. Then we armor together. Dawn brought strategy, legal funds for the center, op-eds co-bylined, love as lodestar. Resolution flowered fragile. Election dust settled uneven, gains local, losses federal, but our block held. Lisa's Christmas card arrived joint. Her and Greg's cruise pics. Note, "Proud of your fight. Visit soon." We did. New Year's in Denver snow, toasting with champagne and confessions. "I dated a woman last year," she shared. Casual. Explored. "Turns out, I'm bi, always was." Laughter bubbled. Revelations redrawing maps. "Family evolves," Michael said, hugging tight. 32 dawned defiant. Michael's sequel penned, "Our Era's Queer Chronicles," tour bigger, me moderating panels on vet transitions. We fostered first. Twins, Jamal and Riley, wide-eyed from group homes, their chaos a joyful siege. Bedtime stories of elk hunts, tamed. Tent truths, veiled, bonded us four. Scout's absence ached, but puppy prints pattered new, a golden named Whiskey, tail a blur. Romance matured lush, anniversaries at Maroon Lake replicas, picnics with Prosecco, quiet nights debating history over herb gardens. Humanistic core pulsed, center expansions, Alex now counselor, crediting our campfire spark. Betrayals? Ramirez visited, beers thawing to respect. Man. Live true, Jake faded to Facebook likes. Irrelevance. Ending by tragicomic. Love's not linear. Laced with losses, Jamal's biomom reclaiming. Heart tug farewell. My knee buckling on a site, forcing desk shifts. But joys compound. Twins adoptions sealed. Michael's TED Talk viral. My union landmark win. On 25th vow night. Backyard tent zipped. Kids asleep inside. We lay stargazing. Same again, Michael teased. Fingers laced. I kissed knuckles. Better. Always. Twins' patter filled the bungalow. Chaos a symphony we'd never tire of. Jamal, with his endless questions. Dad will. Why stars? And Riley's dramatic readings of picture books. Voice piping like a tiny thespian. Fostering morph to forever in court. Judge's gavel a grace note. Lisa Skyping cheers from Denver. Uncle Greg's jealous. No grandkids yet. She'd quip. Her life a whirl of gallery openings. By pride pins glinting on lapels. Visits bidirectional now. Portland summers with her. Our backyard barbecues her escape from Midwest chill. 33's heat-baked ambitions. Michael's book Two Sword. Panels packed with queer vets nodding at my cameos. The 10th chapter? That's universal. I chuckled. But truth lingered. Our origin. Raw as elk blood. Union presidency beckoned. Nominations whispered at union halls. My speeches blending barracks grit with allyship. Trades for all straight. Gay. In between. Eyed thunder. Fists pumping. Big Tom seconded. Hargrove's the guy. Campaign kicked off modest. Flyers on sites. Barbecues with candidates. Michael proofed pamphlets. Twins doodling rainbows on margins. Historic, he murmured. Pride electric. Conflict coiled in autumn leaves. Opponents surfaced, old-school delegates. Mustaches bristling. Murmurs of agenda pusher. A flyer circulated anonymous. Hargrove's distractions? Family first? Photo doctored, me and Michael at Pride. Arms linked. Caption sly. Betrayal stung corporate. A donor pulling funds. Citing optics. Rage boiled. I paced the kitchen. Pots simmering unattended. Fuck 'em, Michael said, chopping onions fierce. You've got the crew, but doubt whispered. Stepdad sins replayed. Lisa's fracture a caution. Rally night climax stormy. Hall packed. Rivals sneering from wings. My speech built thunder. Iraq scars to Portland pickets. Love's role in resilience. I fought for country. Now for community because family isn't blood. It's backbone. Cheers erupted. But heckle pierced. What about your family? Hargrove? Stepson scandal? Silence sucked air. Flashes popped. Michael in front row. Face pale. Twins on his lap wide-eyed. I locked eyes. Drew breath. My family's here, husband. Kids. All of you. Scandals? That's yesterday's fear. Tomorrow's ours. Applause crashed. Rivals slinking. Backstage. Michael crushed me in hug. You did it. Twins chanted Dad, Dad. Oblivious to undercurrents. Election night. Votes tallied in our living room. Whiskey curled by heater. Lisa live-streaming toasts. Wind sealed at midnight. Confetti from Riley's piñata bursting. President Hargrove, Michael whispered, kissing amid chaos. My hero. Winter warmed with winds. Contracts greenlit inclusive. Center grants flowing. But humanism tempered. A delegates coming out post-election. Crediting my candor. Alex's wedding. Us best men in matching bow ties. Romance simmered domestic. Date nights at food carts. Michael's hand in mine-dodging strollers. Twin bedtime rituals. Stories of two dads' big adventure. Spring 34 bloomed betrayals anew. Ramirez's visit soured when his son, fresh from boot, cornered me. You corrupted Mike? Made him. Slur hung. Young eyes conflicted. I talked straight. Love doesn't corrupt. Hiding does. Kid bolted. But Ramirez later called apologetic. Kids learn slow. Thanks for the mirror. Bridge mended. Fragile. Summer tour with Michael, Book 3 launch. Queer lit fest in Provincetown. Beaches bronzed us. Twins building sand forts while we strolled dunes. Hands swinging. Remember Wyoming? He mused. Toes in surf. Cold. Crazy. Perfect. I nodded, pulling him for salt-kissed kiss. Conflict light. A fan's accusation, glorifying incest, met Michael's poise. Fiction from life. Truth in love's mess. Sales spiked. Controversy fuel. Fall's union duties pulled. Negotiations marathon. Pickets in pelting rain. Michael held fort. Twins school plays attended solo. His texts lifelines. Break a leg. Prez. Love you. Exhaustion peaked one dawn. Collapsed in driveway. EpiPen jab from AutoKit. Michael's voice distant on 911. Hospital haze. Stress anaphylaxis? Rare. But. He vigiled. Hand vice grip. No more solo heroics. Discharge brought boundaries. Delegates for deals. Yoga mandatory. Climax revisited intimate. Anniversary eve. Twins at Lisa's. Tent pitched in backyard under harvest moon. Candles flickered. S'mores melted gooey. Vow renewal? Michael grinned. Notebook out. Entries from years. First fight. Twin adoptions. Union win. I added, to endless unzips. Laughter to lovemaking. Slow as aging wine. Bodies mapped familiar. 35 dawned with depth. Twins started kindergarten. Backpacks comically large. Michael's teary drop-off mirrored mine. They're us. Mini-MES, he said, wiping eyes. Book 4 brood. Memoir co-written. Our voices interleaved. Lisa's memoir followed. By awakening post-divorce. Us blurbed proudly. Visits deepened. Greg's fishing trips with me. Man talk over trout streams. Betrayal's last gasp. Jake's obituary. Overdose. Tabloid whisper of regrets. Michael mourned quiet. Lost boy. We donated anonymously to rehab. Cycle broken. Humanistic arc curved. Center's annual gala. Us honored. Tent to triumph. Teens toasting futures. Romance eternalized. Portland's bridges crossed hand in hand. Vows whispered on each. Ending not grand, but grounded. Love's drama in daily. Burnt toast apologies. Twin hugs. Moonlit tents. On 30th. Wyoming return. Real tent. Elk watching. No guns. Same again, Michael asked. Zipped close. Evolved, I replied. Heart full. Ours. 30th looped us reflective. Wyoming's winds whispering anniversaries past. No hunt. Just hikes, trails trod tentative then. Now assured. Peaks loomed paternal. Valleys verdant with what-ifs we'd outgrown. Campfire crackled anecdotes. Twins' latest mischief. Jamal's Frog Orchestra. Lisa's gallery show. Queer artists. Us patrons. Michael leaned in. Head on shoulder. Full circle. I kissed temple. Spiral up. 30 SIXS velocity surprised. Union presidency solidified reforms. Apprenticeships for LGBTQ plus youth. My keynote at National Confab Drawing Vets nods. Hargrove's Blueprint. Headlines hummed. Michael co-taught a seminar. Our tag team on Love in Labor. Laughter lightning policy. Twins thrived. Riley's theater camp monologues. Jamal's science fair volcanoes erupting applause. School pickups doubled delight. Our sedan a clown car of crayons and cheers. Conflict crested subtle. Books co-memoir stirred dust. Conservative outlets decrying incest normalization. Protests picayune. But one letter gut-punched. Anonymous. Postmarked Denver. Venom scrawled. You destroyed her. Pervert. Lisa's old neighbor? Guilt ghosted. But she called laughing. Ignore the fossils. My life's Picasso now. Still, nights I paced. Michael's arms anchor. Haters hate their mirrors. We reflect truth. Summer sabbatical beckoned. Cross-country road trip. RV rumbling like our old truck. Route 66 echoes. Grand Canyon sunsets with twins gaping. Michael's history riffs on neon motels. Nashville detoured for music. Us two-stepping in honky-tonks. Hands discreet under tables. American as this, he quipped. Twirl ending in dip kiss. Betrayal brushed. A trucker's slur at gas pump. Fudge packers. But Jamal's retort. That's my dad's. Diffused with dignity. Lesson logged. Fall's foliage framed family fusion. Lisa's wedding redo. Vow renewal with Greg in Vegas kitsch chapel bells. Elvis officiant. We stood up. Twins ring bearers tripping giggles. Michael's toast. To loves that rewrite rules. Her eyes met mine. Closure complete. No shards. Just shine. Climax domestic drama. Twins' first big kid sleepover. House echoing empty. We seized rare quiet wine on deck. Stargazing to Springsteen. Talk turned deep. Adoption dreams dashed by age caps. Fostering's flux. Enough, Michael probed. Vulnerability veiled. I cupped chin. You're my everything. Kids bonus. Not ballast. Lovemaking followed languid. Reconnecting cores. Affirmations etched in size. 37 innovated. Center launched. Tent talks. Youth storytelling circles. Our Wyoming yarn opener. PG rated. Attendance swelled. Alex moderating with poise. My union-piloted mentorships. Queer tradesman shadowing first grad. A trans kid named Kai. Hugging fierce. You paved it. Pride swelled paternal. Romance ritualized. Monthly hunt dates. Urban twists. Foraging classes or escape rooms. Ending tangled. Humanistic harvest. Books film option. Indie director eyeing authentic voices. We consulted cautious. Insisting nuance, no sensationalism. Taboo as texture. Not titillation. Winter whispered worries. My annual checkup flagged cholesterol. Statins scripted. Mortality's nag. I grumbled over kale smoothies. Michael's insistence. He countered with hikes. Hand squeezes. More years. More us. Twins caught wind. Drawing healthy dad cards. Crayon hearts armor. Spring 38 bloomed bold. Michael's provost nod at PSU. Lectures to legacy. We hosted symposium Queer American Lit. Panels packed. Lisa keynote on by invisibility. Us in front row applauding. Betrayal banished. Ramirez's son emailed. Out and proud. Thanks to you. Photo attached. Rainbow lanyard at Annapolis. Summer splash joy. Family cruise. Alaska fjords. Twins whale watching wrapped. Cabin nights. Michael and I balcony whispering futures. Retirement cabin? Grandkids via Riley's thespian dreams? Laughter light. Love layered. Fall's union election loomed. Incumbent challenged. Whispers of time for fresh. I bowed graceful. Endorsing protege. Pass the torch. Victory party bittersweet. Toasts to transitions. Chapter close. Michael consoled. Arm linked. Next one's ours. Climax crested creative. Memoir film greenlit. Table read tears as actors voiced our unzips. Too real, director fretted. Michael grinned. That's the point. Premiere loomed 40. But prep bonded script notes over dinners. Twins extras in crowd scenes. 39 deep in domestic. Riley's school play lead. Us front row whooping. Jamal's robotics win. Trophy shelf crowded. Fostering paused for a litter whiskey's pups. Chaos quadrupled. Rehomed with care. Romance revered. Vow renewals annual now. Backyard altars with kids officiating. Ending etched enduring. Love's not conquest. But companionship, dramatic dips. Emotional swells. Romantic refrains. Humanistic harmonies. On 35th. Tent under Twins Fort. Now Teen Tower. Michael murmured. Same. I smiled. Zipped eternal. Infinitely better.